put up.
All right.
All right. And 3, 2, 1. Joining us on the Madhouse Chicago Hockey Podcast, Blackhawks defenseman Connor Murphy. Connor, thanks for taking some time out of your very busy preseason schedule to join us here on the podcast. How's it going today?
It's my pleasure, guys. It's good. Yeah, nice day. We're close to the season, so it can't get any better.
Yeah, that's sort of where I want to start is this very strange offseason. You've been in the league for a while now, and I don't know if you could have ever imagined an offseason quite like this. What's it been like, with no preseason and the limited practices and all that? What's your offseason been like here?
Yeah, it's been good. I think this year, just because everything being shut down, most off seasons you'd have a few more distractions and get away from hockey and training a little bit with the summer. And now it seems like with things shut down, it's easier to focus and just stick to your training and have your daily routines that way. And then so that way when this training camp has started, obviously it's been really short, but I think guys are in good shape, having a good amount of time to train and even just being in shape for the camp before the bubble and playoffs. And then just kind of continuing that into this year. So I think we should be good, but it'll definitely be different with it being so short.
Everybody that we've talked to has kind of spoken about the kind of oddness of it not being over the summer, having the off season, the summer, having it in the fall instead. Was there any changes that you made, like kind of off the ice to your routine? Were you having to play golf, do other activities? Like what kind of stuff did you do actually having a fall to yourself for once?
I didn't do a whole lot different. I think it was nice to enjoy the holidays, like the different change in seasons. We don't really get to enjoy the fall as much. Usually that's right when we're in the thick of starting the season. So I wouldn't say doing too many outdoor activities, just more, hanging out and doing the festive stuff and maybe seeing family a little bit. So nothing too different.
How do you feel physically? Does it coming in with a different sort of routine? I know you said you didn't change much, but have you felt, maybe more winded, less winded during warmups, things like that? How has it been physically for you with the change?
Yeah, physically good. I think I feel better this year than I have majority before. A big focus for me was my groins. I tweaked a groin the last couple of training camps actually. So had been spending a lot of time and attention on that and trying to do some more sprint work skating to strengthen that. So it's not a shock when training camp comes around, you're going full speed. A lot of times that's tough because even if you're going to train hard on the ice in the off season, there's always a different pace to training camp and the drills that can kind of wear on your hips a little bit. So I was working on that. And then just, I think because of not having much going on this summer, you're usually trying to work out and then go golf or go hang out with people. You end up not resting as much as you would now in the winter and fall. You tend to work hard in the morning and then hibernate during the day to get your naps and hang out when the sun's not up too much. So I think that actually helps your body recover a lot and kind of helps you get in better shape.
I know preseason games are kind of a necessary evil for you guys just to kind of get the kinks worked out, play against some opposing teams instead of having to go up against your teammates all the time. How different is that to not have that preseason to kind of get ready for all of this? And I guess the big question is, are you a fan of not having to play preseason games and just being able to focus on practices and getting ready for the season?
Yeah, I kind of like preseason games. I think it tended to some years felt like it was drawn out a little long until there's a lot. I think there's usually 6 of them. Is that right? There's sometimes it feels like you just need two to three maybe, and you're fine. It was nice that we had a inter squad scrimmage against each other last night. Just even if you have the high paced practices and training camp, it's not the same as sitting 3 periods and having the intermissions and the commercial breaks and just those kind of in-game routines of kind of working for 3+ hours with the warm-ups even before the game. So just getting your body used to coming in at night and having those games and getting in the rhythm that will come quick once the season gets going. But yeah, I am a fan of kind of getting those routines going. That way when the season starts, you can kind of hit the ground running. But we've definitely had enough time. There's no reason why we can't this year.
How difficult was it, last year playing in the bubble with no crowd? You're going to have to do it for basically the entire season this year. How big of an adjustment was that as a player?
Yeah, I don't think it was much you had to change. It was more just you'd notice differences like momentum shifts in the game weren't the same as they are with the crowd, especially when you're on the road. And they seem it could be a low quality scoring chance and the crowd goes nuts and you feel like you just gave up a big chance that's kind of putting you on your heels. So I know playing in Edmonton, like they scored, I think McDavid scored the first goal against us, and in a normal setting, that building would have been insanely loud and they would have had more momentum, but it seemed like it was just quiet and they kind of had their 10-second celebration. And then the next puck drop, it didn't feel like we were phased at all. So I think that part kind of helps. But you do miss on the home side, you miss a lot of that energy that you get. And for us in United Center, the anthems and kind of the pregame stuff too, that definitely feeds a lot into your adrenaline. So we'll definitely miss that and hopefully get it back sooner than later.
Since we're on the topic of kind of some of the changes that have been necessitated by COVID, I wanted to get your take on the NHL scheduling, kind of the back-to-back games. And I was really curious to see if that was helpful for you as a defenseman to see the same team back-to-back games so you kind of get a feel for their tendencies, or do you think that it could be a challenge because then opponents can see how you're working to defend them? I kind of just wanted to get your take on that.
No, I think it always helps the defensive side, defensive mentality. You kind of look at playoff series and when you in the playoffs, the team that tends to win is the one that defends the best usually. So I think that helps kind of getting the tendencies of how guys want to be elusive offensively. So that part's nice. And I think even just for us playing the 82 games in usual season, you're and having to play each team at least once when they changed the schedule to that years ago. You're doing a lot more traveling and a lot more different time changes. And after the game, you're going straight to the airport and then not getting home till 2 a.m. or so. So this is less of that. Obviously, you have more time to kind of recover and then prep for that next game where you're playing the same team. So I like that. And I think that's what it'll be fun about this year, is a different opportunity instead of just the usual season. So it'll be interesting to see how teams overall like it and if there'd be more of that maybe in the future.
Connor, I wanted to ask you about the mood of the team going into the season. We heard in the offseason it was going to be a commitment to the youth, but at that time you had Doc, you had Nylander, you had Taves, and before the season even really begins, you've got 3 pretty big losses facing you guys. What's the mood of the team? What's the spirit of the team as we head into the opener on Wednesday?
Yeah, I think the mood's good. I think guys are excited to be back and around, and I think the big word is opportunity for everyone. Whether you're new and trying to prove yourself in an organization in the league, or if you've been around a few years and trying to maybe lead in a different way or in a bigger role, or even just try to be an underdog that a lot of people aren't touting us as high as we think that we will be. So there's that challenge and opportunity that'll be a lot of fun. And but those guys that we do miss, there's definitely a different feeling when you don't have some leaders like Taser, especially around the room. He's a guy that don't really even need to explain. Everyone knows the impact that he has. One of the best centermen in the league, and on the defensive side and offensively in the dressing room as a captain. It's definitely a weird feeling not seeing a guy like that around. And we definitely miss him, but we have enough guys that can pick up with leadership to help everyone along the right way.
Well, speaking of opportunity, some of the guys I'm most excited to watch this year are some of your partners on the blue line, with Adam Boquist entering his second full year, Ian Mitchell, who's come and has looked really good in camp so far, and even Bodan, Carlson, some of those guys. Who's impressed you in terms of the young players on the blue line and maybe elsewhere?
Yeah, what I like about those young guys is they don't seem to so far show that those young jitters. And I know just personally, my first year or two, I definitely was rattled a little more when things weren't going right, or having nerves playing against guys like being on the ice against Kane or certain guys that you're not used to having that challenge. And these guys seem to be very even keel and very confident and playing their game. So I think that's important for whoever's playing and what roles they're put into. And they're just great guys and good teammates to have around. I was lucky to play with Carlson last year a bit, and Bodan got a few games, and then Ian Mitchell's shows he's such a good skater, and we expect a lot from him, and that he's gonna impress a lot of people right away. So I don't know individually if there's one guy I'd say that we haven't had that long of a camp, but they all definitely seem comfortable, which is really key to have when the season can start so quick.
Obviously, all the young guys are going to be really exciting to watch. And I know that Jay and I are really looking forward to kind of seeing their development. But one guy that Blackhawks fans think the world of, a guy that we have a ton of respect for, obviously, is Duncan Keith. Hockey World shares our viewpoint of him, I guess. I'm really curious what it's been like for you to line up next to him on the ice, to like share that pairing with him. Is there anything that you've kind of learned and applied to your game after working with him? What's it like to be a defensive partner with a guy who's had the kind of career success that he's had?
Yeah, I think the line I learned that I think that speaks a lot of volumes to him and a couple of our guys is success leaves clues. I think the amount of success they've had in their careers and the amount of winning they've had, you realize what a lot of those things have led to. And I think he's actually a decently predictable defender. He has a lot of the same moves and same patterns that as a partner you want to see and be able to read off of, whether it's some D-to-D plays or even the ways that he closes in on guys and uses his stick and his skating. So he's an unbelievable player that I definitely have learned from how he uses his stick and does a lot of defending, just as me being more of a defender in that way. So it's cool to have him around to see that, and you definitely don't take it for granted. There's a lot of teams are on that don't have guys that have had that long of a career that have learned so many ways and how to make the game easier on yourself. So he has that presence about him, and he's really good with the young guys too. He definitely helped out Boki a lot, paired with him last year, and then this year, I mean, I noticed right off day one of camp, he pulls a couple of our new young D-men that are their first year and just shows them about defending with their stick in certain ways. So those are things that are so valuable. And I think everyone's got those stories of guys that they've learned from as they get into later in their career, of those little details that they've helped along the way. And it means a lot.
One thing I want to make sure I asked you, there was a lot of, I guess you'd say, hindsight when Kirby Dach got injured in the World Junior Championships. You're a guy who won a gold medal with Team USA in 2013. You won another gold in the under 18 in 2011. I believe you were the captain of that team and won the gold medal overtime winning game goal, correct? In 2011.
Not the captain, but I scored. Yeah.
Okay, all that matters is the goal. Tell our listeners who might not be as familiar with the World Junior Championships what that means to a player at that age, what that means to Kirby Dach. James and I have sort of been saying, look, despite the fact that he got hurt, it was the right thing to do for him and for his future and for his development. What's your sort of take on that whole situation?
Yeah, I think that World Juniors is such a milestone to be able to play in. You grow up, and that is like right next to the NHL as the biggest thing that you could play in. Just being able to play for your country, and there's not many international tournaments that resemble the hype for international play as that U20 for whatever reason. I don't know why the history kind of shown that's been, but it's something that I remember when I was playing in it. I remember going to the finals and I was watching YouTube of every other finals in the past years, and the guys that won the gold medals and how many guys that were in the NHL that had played in that tournament. So you kind of just look at it like that's one of your first chances, even though you're usually already drafted. It's kind of when your first chances to show the hockey world like what you're capable of and what your country's capable of with the guys you played with growing up. A lot of those guys have played in different international tournaments from when they were 14, 15. So it means a lot to everyone to be able to play for your country. And that's why, it meant a lot to Docker, and the support you showed. You saw that he showed on social media to his teammates, even though he wasn't there. Just the pride that everyone has for their country and them being in Canada too. So it's sad to have any injuries. Obviously him being out is terrible even for that amount of time, but it's hard. You can't predict those things and can't go around expecting injuries to happen in the game, because it's just part of it.
Connor, we really appreciate having you on. And I know we've asked you a lot of hockey-related questions, but I do have one question that's kind of more designed for you to give Jay some career advice. He does some DJing on the radio on the sides, and I remember reading in the Sun-Times that you volunteered to play the role of dressing room DJ for the Blackhawks.
Yeah, I don't know. Volunteer.
I was going to say, is there music in your rotation right now that you could suggest for Jay to potentially use?
I fell off the path a bit with COVID just because I don't know, we were all just doing our own thing and not being around the guys and looking for the new songs as much. But the guy that actually asked lately is Subban. He's good. He's got what I respect with him is he likes about every genre of music. And I always feel like the people that have good taste in music kind of respect everything. And we got a lot of guys in our team who are not like that. We have a lot of guys who are just so biased toward one type, or they're only country or only rap or only techno, and then they'll just chirp anything else that's on there. So Sui's probably the guy to ask. I don't know what kind of music do you usually throw on as a DJ?
I do a show on an app called Gimme Country, so it's all country, but
Okay.
I'm very particular about the country I play. It's old stuff, not the new stuff, but it's all really good.
That's good. So you know your audience and how you pick the certain things.
That's right. Yeah, I get to
That's
pick
big.
my own stuff. So it's it's the Waylon Jennings, the Willie Nelsons, and then the people like from now who are similar.
That's
So
great. Yeah. Ours is hard because we get like guys like Boquist who only listen to Justin Bieber and Avicii, and then you got like guys like Dunks who listen to like country rap. So it's like,
all right,
it's just about everything you can imagine. So it's even hard to like mix all those songs together. You got to kind of just like pick one per day to listen to.
Is there anybody on the team that like listens to something that completely shocks you, like that you would look at him and be like, there's no way he likes that? What the heck's going on here?
That's probably Dunks. Dunks likes the like, there's, I didn't know it was a thing. There's like country rap, like country singers that are rapping. So he likes that. And it's like kind of old, like, I don't know, kind of really like dirt road, like rapping type lyrics. And it's just funny because it just feels like you're mixing two genres that you never thought would really go together. But then the best ones are like Russian guys, and they put on their music and it's just a different language and a bunch of just like yelling techno and Russian. And it's funny. And you get that they like it, but it's just something when you're like raised in the US, you never in your life listen to, and then it comes on and it throws you off. So it's fun.
I think you guys should just put together a team playlist. Everybody picks a song and just you just hit shuffle and see what happens.
Yep.
Yeah.
Connor,
exactly.
Thanks so much for your time, man. We appreciate it. Good luck going into the season. Here's to good health. Here's to a bunch of wins, and stay safe out there, man. We're thinking
Appreciate
about
good talking to you guys. It means a lot.
We're excited to have hockey back. That's for sure.
Yeah, of course.
All right. Hawks defenseman Connor Murphy was our guest on the Madhouse Chicago Hockey Podcast.